There have been some very valid points across the media about the High Line, which has been causing quite some concern in the stands as well. But it's been a solid start, including the Cup. It's been 4 wins, 3 draws, and 1 defeat. And I think there will be tweaks to the High Line as the season progresses, as it's not necessarily playing to the strengths of the available personnel. And against certain opposition, it could be a little bit suicidal, you would have to say. Hello there, my name's Packham. I'm the presenter of the Albion Raw radio show on Radio Reverb here in sunny Brighton. And I'm a Brighton fan. Been doing this show for 17 years because I'm that old. And, we've been doing it long before podcasts even existed, which is a bit mad. But we've been a long way with the show. When we first started doing it, we were in League One, and last season's little sojourn into Europe has shown you how far we've come. But what have we made of the season so far? Well, we're 8 games into the Hertzler era, including the League Cup, and we've only lost one. Which was last weekend's game at Chelsea. There have been some very valid points across the media about the High Line, which has been causing quite some concern in the stands as well. But it's been a solid start, including the Cup. It's been 4 wins, 3 draws, and 1 defeat. And I think there will be tweaks to the High Line as the season progresses, as it's not necessarily playing to the strengths of the available personnel. And against certain opposition, it could be a little bit suicidal, you would have to say. But as of the new gaffer, Fabian Hertzler, the very obvious sound bites before a ball was kicked was, "Ooh, isn't he young?" And, "Oh, how will the senior players react to a player younger than them?" Those comments have seem to have vanished already, and that's a good sign that it's going okay. Our squad's had a little bit of an overhaul in the last window. And unusually for us, we've brought in quite a few box fresh players rather than ones that we will nurture, bring through, send out on loan, etc. But that said, they still need to be bedded in and get used to the system, new teammates, the division, the area, the food, etc. But overall, we're pretty happy with Fabian. Last season just felt a bit flat after being knocked out of Europe by Roma. And you just felt that something was broken between Roberto De Zerbi and the board. Fabian has come in with some new ideas, some good, some not so good, but it's a work in progress, and it's probably a little bit too early to judge, but we're excited about what the future holds. The transfer window, one thing that Fabian has been is supported with us spending nearly £200 million. I'm not going to lie, this has made me feel slightly uncomfortable as it's not really the way that we do things. However, Tony Bloom has explained in various interviews that we should not be worried about it. And, quite frankly, most of that money came from Chelsea, didn't it? So, thanks to them. As for the players, we broke our transfer record to bring in Jorginho Ruta from Leeds. Ferdi Kadioglu, he starred in Turkey's surge to the Euro quarterfinals. He joined from Fenerbahce. Mats FIFA came from PSV. Yankuba Minte joined from Newcastle, but he was also at PSV last year. Brian Gruder has joined from Mainz. He's one we're very excited about, but we've not seen yet. Dane, Matt O'Reilly joined from Celtic. Then he got seriously injured 9 minutes into his debut. Thanks, Crawley. Manik Yalkore, Ibrahim Osman, and Mario Cozier-Dubry also came in, but they're currently out on loan, which is the normal Brighton way of doing it. But that is still an awful lot of players to bed in. And we also lost Pascal Gross and Adam Lallana, and that leaves a massive hole in our dressing room. James Milner is still around, but we've not seen too much of him of late. But the Brighton way is usually to have one of those older heads to help the younger guys, and there's a lot of younger guys in that squad. So Pascal and Adam were massive, massive characters. So yeah, they will be massively missed. But time will tell about how successful the window actually is. Aims for this season, realistically, we've got to be looking at getting back into Europe. We thoroughly enjoyed our adventure last season, and the aim is to get back and do it again. When you're going out to places like Ajax, to AEK Athens, to Marseille, to Roma, and these places, for a club like Brighton, we've always dreamed of getting to. Um, you know, it's a long time. It's not been that long ago since we nearly went out of business entirely. So to have that little run, we're really, really hungry to do it again. Also, we'll be looking to be successful in the cups. We've not been to a cup final since 1983. Been at Wembley a couple of times in the FA Cup semis, which, let's face it, shouldn't be at Wembley. But it'd be nice to go one further and actually win our first ever trophy. What have I made of Spurs this season? Well, it's very much a case of as you were from last year from the outside looking in. Obviously, the win at Old Trafford has grabbed a lot of the headlines, but that's more to do with how bad Man United were rather than how good Spurs were. But, we get that a lot. It's always about the other team, isn't it? But, United are, I guess, a big news story at the moment. And, well, let's not talk about them. Anyway, it's great that you're back in Europe this season, although it's probably not the competition you wanted to be in. But our view is any European competition has got to be good to be in, and it's a little bit snobbish to think otherwise. We would have quite happily taken the Conference League this season. Villa did really well in that last year. West Ham won it a couple of years a year before. So, it's just to be in one of those competitions, particularly for a club like Brighton, it's still very much a dream. And I think you've got a very, very good chance of going all the way in it, and wish you well. You've got a decent squad full of players that can hurt us. I don't really fear anyone in particular. Madison on his days obviously can be sensational, but can also go missing. Van der Ven is fun, isn't he? Son is he's just look. Sometimes he plays with a smile. Sometimes he plays like he's left the gas on. He gets a little bit frustrated, but he's a great finisher, and he's obviously one that we're going to be worried about if he's fit. And of course, we'll always keep an eye out on Yves Bissouma, who is still very much loved here, unlike some players that may have left over the last couple of years, particularly ones that have gone to West London or other parts of North London. I'll let you make up your own mind who they might be. As for our players to look out for, I would have to start with Carlos Baleba. He's just been an absolute joy to watch this season, and he's come on leaps and bounds since last year. We obviously got plenty of talent in our squad there, and I suspect the likes of Karim Mitoma, Evan Ferguson, Jean-Paul Van Hecker, Wout Bruggen, that they would be coveted by most teams in the league. So, and that includes yourself. The games last year were a little bit odd. We were 4-2 up at the Amex, but we felt like we were hanging on at the end. And then the sucker punch last minute winner from Brennan Johnson at your place was just annoying. But we'll take the 5-3 aggregate win. Thanks very much. Of course, Spurs were the first ever side to play at the Amex in a friendly in July 2011. We lost that game 3-2, but that was the beginning of something for us. Having home at last after being cut adrift for 14 years, two of those having to play home games at Gillingham, 12 playing in Athletic Stadium with Dean, and then finally to the Amex and having our own stadium. It was just a wonderful, wonderful day, and it's one that we'll always, always remember. And we're just fresh from League One at the time, and we really gave you a game about it. And I think it was a late Gareth Bale goal that got the winner in that one. As for the game on Sunday, I am expecting a very open game with more heart-inducing high-line antics from us. Carew pushing your defence back, Danny Welbeck causing problems for your defenders, Baleba marauding and hitting the post probably. I think it's going to end up 6-6, isn't it? Possibly, but anyway, let's just hope that. Well, we're hoping for an Albion win. We want to get back on track after losing to Chelsea last week, and again, that's another game that could have ended up 6-all. But let's move on, and good luck in Europe. Let's hope the Albion win on Sunday.